All right, welcome. Today we are going to be looking at the top 10 tools that Google Docs has to help support writers in their writing. These are some awesome tools that can streamline the process, make things easier, and it really improves the writing for students in the class. And these tools can be used at either the middle school level or the high school level. All right, let's get started. All right, for those of you that are new to using Google Docs, if you open up your Chrome web page and you go to the top left or top right corner, go down to Docs, and you can open up the program. Something that's fairly new is they have added these templates at the start of the page, and if you click more, you can see that they now have a plethora of different types of templates that you can use depending on the type of writing you're using. For today's tutorial, we're only going to use a blank sheet, and that's where we're going to go from. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this page, and the first thing I'm going to do is set it up so it looks the way it will look if you usually open it up. The first tool that I'd like to show you is a tool that has the ability to do dictation. So as you are speaking into the microphone, it will take your voice and translate it into text, which is a great tool. So if you don't want to type, or if you're not that strong a typer, you can go ahead and just start speaking into the microphone and it will get started. So I'm going to go down to voice typing. If you're doing this for the first time, it may ask for access to your mic, and then once it's went through and it's asked for permission, it should just open it up. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I'll say a few passages so you can see that it is accurate, and it does do line commands as well, where you can get a list of all the different words you can use to help it through the process of doing your typing. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So I'll click on it to get started. The horse ran very fast and jumped over the fence. Period. New line. All right, so you can see that it was very accurate with what I had said. When I got to the end of the sentence, I used the word period, I put the period in, and then I used the phrase new line, and it brought it down to the new line. If you search for it, you can find a page that will provide all of the different commands you can use when using the dictation, the voice typing tool in Google Docs. So that's tip number one. All right, the next tip I want to show you is the ability to take anything that you've written. So we have a sentence: the horse ran very fast and jumped over the fence. We're going to take it and we can translate it into another language. So if you go ahead and highlight it, go to Tools, and you can go down and change it and translate the document to a different language. So seeing that I'm in Canada, I'm going to translate it to French. Might be something that's more useful if you're in the United States, if you translate it to Spanish, but it really doesn't matter. There's several different languages that you can translate it to. This is really important if you're doing any kind of worldwide communication. You could create a document, translate it to the other person's language, they could receive it, and if they sent it back in their language, you could translate it back to English. So it's a very powerful and useful tool. You might have some collaboration or some exchanges of information happening between your class and another class that speaks a different language, and possibly they're in the same city, maybe not. And so you go ahead and you click on Translate. It translates the document, it opens it up as a new doc, and it shows how it is worded in the other language. So it's a very cool idea that Google has implemented into Google Docs, and I think it's a viable and it's a valuable asset that could potentially be used in writing in the classroom. Another benefit I wanted to share about the translation feature is, in a lot of schools, we are getting students from many countries, and they're coming in as ESL students, teaching students that have English as a second language. And this is a pivotal tool that can help them and support them in the transition from their initial language to the English language. All right, it only seems fitting that I show you this, this next app now that we've converted our sentence into French. And this is a very useful application that we have the premier version in our school, but the basic version I find is something that works very well for me. So if you have students in the class that need to have reading done in another language or in English, you can go ahead and download an app called Read and Write. So I'm going to show you one app, but it's essential that you go on and search for apps that could possibly work in your classroom. Search on literacy, on reading, on comprehension, and you'll find several apps that come up, and try them out and see which ones work in your class. So when I'm talking about apps, there's two different ways that you can search for apps. I say apps, but I also mean extensions. So if you go up to apps in the top left corner, these are all the apps that I have downloaded. They're all their own entity. They're all independent programs that work on their own. But if you go to Web Store and you type in, so that the program that I want to use is called Read and Write. So I'll go ahead and click on Read and Write, and it comes up. So if you see at the top here, we have apps. And then if you look down, this is several of the apps that I've shown. If you want to see more apps that have to do with reading and writing, you can click on the More App results. Or if you want to see the extensions that support a software program that you already have in Chrome, then you can look at the bottom here. So this is the one I'm talking about, Read and Write. So we can go ahead and you would add it to Chrome. The Add it to Chrome button would be here. I've already downloaded it, so I have it. So let's go back to the actual document that I had opened. So I'm just going to make my way back to it here. I should have opened up a new tab. All right, that's okay. All right, so here we are. We're back to my document, the horse sample. And the first thing I'm going to show you is up in the top right corner here, we have Read Write. So these are all of the extensions that I've added into Chrome that help me with various things that I do in Chrome, whether it's in Google Docs or in spreadsheets or just using it with the Chrome browser. The one that I want to show you here, though, is the Read and Write for Google Chrome. So I've had it loaded and it's in Google Docs. So if I click on it, it brings down a menu at the top of the page. Here you can see the Premier version gives you an extensive listing of other utilities that you can use, but the basic ones are still very valuable. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Settings here. Make sure I have a US voice that's going to do the speech. So it's set up. You can change the speech from slow to fast, and you can do a translation if you want to do a translation. But I'm just going to go ahead and say OK. I'm going to highlight the words and go ahead and press play.
The horse ran very fast and jumped over the fence. The horse ran very fast and jumped over the fence.
All right, so hopefully you could hear that. They went through and read the sentence, and it was done with a US accent. But we also have the translated copy that is in French. And if I go ahead and highlight that and go ahead and press play, have a listen. All right, so that was a French sentence that was read in a U.S. English accent. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to a French accent now. So I'm going to go down to French. Let's use Julie. Okay, and I'll say OK. So we now have it set up with a French accent, and we'll see how this sounds.
Le cheval courut très vite et sautait dessus la clôture.
All right, so that sounds much more like a French person speaking and using French to read a French sentence. So you can see that's a kind of a cool feature. So you can see if you had an ESL student that needed to have work translated and read to them, this would be a very viable option to help support their learning in the classroom. All right, the next tool I want to show you is Google Docs allows students the ability to collaborate. So if we were to take this project and turn it into a collaboration project. Possibly we would have the students select the different parts of speech for this this sentence. So I'm going to say here, highlight the following sentence according to the various parts of speech. Okay, so we could say nouns are going to be blue, verbs will be green, adverbs can be yellow, and adjectives will be purple. All right. So at this point, as a teacher, if you want to jazz this up, I'm going to do that. So just give me 1 sec. I'll just make this look a little bit prettier, and then I'll come right back. I decided I may as well just go ahead and create this the way I want it, so you can see the changes that I make. So I'm going to go ahead and just bold the top of this, and then for nouns, they're going to be highlighted blue. So I'll show the color. Now make sure you change it from text to highlight. I'm going to highlight it in a nice bright blue. Verbs will be nice bright green. Adverbs be yellow, and adjectives will be purple. Well, kind of magenta. All right, so there we have the different colors that we're going to use to edit this sentence. Before I do that, I better add a few words here. So I'll put the big horse ran very fast and jumped over the fence. So at this point, you have a little project or assignment that's created, but instead of having students work on their own, they could work together, where they could edit and make the changes together. So I can set this up so it's a shared document, and then you could share it amongst the entire class or into groups, where you would give certain people the ability to edit. So whoever you add into this section here, they'd get the shareable link, and they'd all have access to this document. So once they have opened up the document, the users will show up right here, and they can work on the document together. So it's a pretty simple way of doing collaboration and having students work together, and they can all be working simultaneously. If they have a disagreement, then they can send comments to each other, they can discuss it, and finally come up with what they think is the right way of completing the task at hand. Okay, I did want to show you how it looks if you do share a document, just so you have a better understanding. So if I went up to share and I type in an address, so I typed in another one of my email addresses. So if you take a look here, you can see now it's shared between 2 of my addresses. If I wanted to pick more people, I could. So on the right hand side, I have our original document, and then this is the same document being shared with my other email address. So if I receive this and I wanted to start working on this project, you'll see over here on the right hand side all the changes happen simultaneously. So maybe I thought, geez, they didn't put a good adjective in here, so I'm going to put an adjective in. So on the right hand side, you see on the document that it shows who made the change, so my name comes up, and I can go ahead and highlight it, and I'll go up to highlight, purple. Okay, so now I have big highlighted, and over here we can see that the change has been made as well. Once you have 2 writers that are working on an assignment together, they can also collaborate by chatting. So if you go up to the top, there's a small icon that says show chat that they both have. And if I go in, I'm going to do this again. I tried it, but my screencast cut out on me, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same example where I'm going to write in here, I am not sure what noun is, question mark. And I'm going to go ahead and send this to my partners. So my partner on this side received it. I'm just going to move myself out of the way. You can see in the bottom corner here it says, I'm not sure what a noun is, so then the partner can say, I can help you, period. And then they'll send the notification. This partner is going to go up, find a noun, and they can go ahead and highlight it. And they could also write a text back saying a noun is a person, place, or thing. And you can go from there. So they write that in. Then this partner on this side goes, wait a second, you put in the wrong color. So they can go ahead and edit over top of that and put in the right color. So we know a noun is blue. So now everything is done. They've worked together. They have it correct. Life is good. All right. That is the share feature. Very powerful feature. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, at this point, we no longer need to see this second screen, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it, and we'll set this screen up to full screen again. All right, so I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger too, so you can see it. Now, the next thing I want to do is, as a teacher, you may have the time now to go back, review the work that was done during the day, and you can go ahead and post comments. So I might want to come down here and highlight a word, and I can go ahead and make a comment. So I'm going to post a comment right here to say, did you forget to highlight this word? And I can send the comment, so they know that it came from me, and they know when it, and they know that that's something that that as a teacher I want to make sure that is addressed. So you can do that when you're editing any of the work, or students can peer edit, and they can make comments as they go down, and the comments show up directly where the word is highlighted. So that's an effective tool that you can use as well. Now, at this point, since I'm the original publisher of this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit it as if I'm the teacher. And the next thing that we're going to do here is create the next assignment. So students could do that assignment once it's done. Possibly after the class is over, you could create and set up another assignment on the same document. So here we go. We will write down, use one of the nouns to find out more information on the topic. Using Scholar, find a picture, YouTube video, and a quote based on the noun that you have selected. All right, so students now have to go ahead and select one of the nouns. So they're going to choose horse or fence, and I'm going to choose horse. That sounds much more interesting than fence. Go up to Tools, and when you click on Tools, you go to Research. This is a great part of Google. I love this. So it's going to bring up a search engine, and it will probably show up like this when you get it. And you can see that it's already put in a bunch of related topics. So it's smart that way, but we're not going to look for the topics that it's asking for. But if students wanted to, they could find out what the different parts of speech are. That would have been a very useful tool to use when they were doing the assignment the day before. So I'm going to go ahead and put in horse, and all the information on horses starts to show up. And I don't want to just find horses, I want to be a little bit more specific. I'm going to go to images. That's the first thing I want to show my teacher is an image of a horse. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to filter it by finding the free to use horse photos. and I want to teach them how to use APA style for citing their images. So this is great that with the research tool, it automatically takes and cites the images that are used. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a horse, and you can see down in the bottom right corner it puts a number 1. At the bottom of the page we already have the citation of where this image was retrieved. So we have our image, and the next thing we have to do is find a YouTube video. So let's go back to everything and see if we can find a YouTube video about horses. So I don't see any just using the word horse, so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to put in the word jump. So I'm going to get a picture, or possibly a YouTube video of a horse jumping. So if we go down here, 17 horses jump off. That's the one I want. Okay, the students would probably want to look at that first. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to move it in. So we have the horses jump off, and it is the free to use YouTube video, and I'm also going to cite it. So we have the citation shows up at the bottom. So we have our YouTube video, we've cited it, we can move on to the next part of our project. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to put in just the word horse again. I want to find a quote on horses, so I go down to quotes, and I can read through, look at the quotes, see the one that I like, and I like the one that says, one man, one horse, one Holocaust on demand. No, don't like that. Let's go to the second one, third one. Okay, let's say I like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this quote. Okay, and again, it puts the citation, so we have everything cited at the bottom. It happens automatically, and we've used a lot of the different parts of the research tool. They also have the ability to use the dictionary. They could also search things based on tables. And anyone that's interested in finding some scholarly articles based on horses, you could click on the scholarly articles. They'd come up, and anything that would be interesting, they could go ahead and find out more information about it. All right, that's how you use the research tool. The next tool that I want to show you is the usefulness of creating headings. So if you go to the top here, you can see that there's several different options for how you want to set up your text. And I'm going to create this as an assignment. This is the next assignment for the kids. Now that you have created information based on your noun, create headings to describe each part of the assignment. Here, all right, we have a word over here that's been misspelled. If I right-click on it, it'll bring up some suggestions. So I'm going to take the one that I want there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create headings for the different parts of this assignment. So I didn't create a heading at the top, so I'm going to call this top 10 tips in Google Docs. All right, now that is just regular text. This is normal text, so I'm going to change it to our first heading. So this is going to be heading number 1. Okay, so it's a big heading. It's the main part of our page. Then the second part is going to be, we're going to put a heading here for parts of speech, but that's not, that's going to be a heading number 2. And then we're going to have parts of speech. We have the parts of speech, we have the sample, and then we have the second assignment. And so let's say here we want to put in image of horse. This is going to be our next heading. So I'm going to put it as a heading number 2. Then we're going to have, for our next heading, we're going to have YouTube video of horse jumping. Hit our heading. And then we're going to have our last one here, which is this is our quote about a horse. And that's going to be heading number 2. Okay, as far as that. So we have all of our headings. The reason I did that is once you have headings set up in your Google Docs assignment, if you go up to Tools, we can now take those headings and we can create a document outline. So this is the next tool that I wanted to show you is document outline, but you have to have your tools or your headings set up. So we have set it up. Over here you can see that we have now an outline of this this document, and you can see that it's all lined up. It shows the main heading and then the other ones set up underneath them. So this is another cool tool that is set up in Google Docs. I just wanted to show you another useful technique to use with creating headings in Google Docs. So we've already made the outline, and you can see you can click on the different parts of the outline to get to the different parts of the source. But if you're sending it as a document, you might want to set it up and have a table of contents built right into the document. So I'm going to go ahead and just go under the base of the main title, and I'm going to insert a page break. So I'm going to go down to page break, click on it. It's just moving my document down to the next page. And I'm going to insert a table of contents here. So it's very simple to do. Once you have your settings placed properly, then you can go to Insert, Table of Contents, and it automatically will set up a table of contents at the top of the writing. So if it ends up being an extensive project, or there's several different sections in the writing, this is a very useful tool. So you can quickly click on the heading and it will take you to that section of the document. All right, table of contents, great thing to have in Google Docs. Okay, we only have 2 tips left, and they're fairly quick and simple. One that I thought I'd just mention is if you're at the end of an assignment, you can check and do word count, where it shows the number of words in the pages in a document. That might be something you want to do when you're doing your final edit, just to see where you're at. And also you have your spell check and your definitions in there. So something to do at the end of your document just to double check it and make sure all your editing is done correctly. The final tool that I want to show is in Add-ons. We've already went to the store, but if you go into Get Add-ons, it will give you a list of all the add-ons that you can use with Google Docs. So I would just go ahead and scroll through. If there's anything there that you would think would be useful for your assignment, whether it's creating a chart, or maybe you want to do something where you want to do a bibliography using EasyBib. There's several add-ons here that are very, very useful that can make it more efficient when making your assignment. All right, I hope you enjoyed the top 10 tips for Google Docs. There may have been a couple extra ones in there, and I hope this is of use to you. Thanks for watching.